The first letter of this first sentence is an oversized letter, and we have, it's called coincidences in Hebrew, where we see letters that are either very large or very small. They can be broken in half, they can be upside down, they can be a different distance from than all the other words together. So this first letter is an oversized letter. There's a message there. Every single thing that we see in the Hebrew, there's a message. This first letter means house, and it has a roof, it has a back wall, and it has a floor. It looks almost as if somebody is going to be coming out of that house. Since it is oversized, it blocks all that came before it. But issuing from it comes forth the rest of the Torah, in which all the secrets of God's wisdom are hidden. From now we may see from the Gimel to the Tav, that's the third letter of the alphabet, all the way to the end. There are 20 letters that remain. So we'll see that all the 20 letters are really being issued forth from the Son, as we've already seen in Colossians 1:15, 17, and 19. This pictures the way that God communicates His word to the world through His Son. Son in the Hebrew is Ben, and in the Aramaic it's Bar. The Bet, representing the Son, begins the Bible. So we have Aleph is the first letter, silent. Bet is the second letter, it's hard. Both languages that are used in the Old Testament, the Hebrew and the Aramaic, show that Bet is the one that reveals the Son. We have Ben for Hebrew and Bar for Aramaic. Jesus also reveals this because God was housed in His flesh. In John 1:14, we have, and the Word became flesh. And the word that we use is dwelt among us, but it's really not. It really means tabernacled among us. The tabernacle, which was the house of God in the wilderness, was a movable church. We can see it that way. And so God walked among His people in the desert. When Jesus Christ came to earth, He was God walking among the people. He tabernacled among us, and we beheld His glory. The glory is of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. We also see this as we've seen in Colossians 1:15. The Bet, having a numeric value of 2, also represents the duality of creation. God is one. The Jews always sing Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God. The Lord is one. But when we look at creation, we see duality. So it had to begin with 2. We have the heavens and the earth, the land and the sea, male and female, light and darkness, day and night, sunrise, sunset, the seen and the unseen, and the list goes on. Bereshit. This word is actually translated in 3 words in the English. We have bet, which is a preposition. It means in. Resh means head, and it is the end of the word. It's a suffix, and we use of. So, Bereshit, in the beginning. It is also the name of the first book in the Torah. We use Genesis from the Septuagint translation of the Greek, and the Hebrew really uses the very first word of the first book, which is Bereshit. The problem is that when we've used this translation from the Greek origins, and not really using what we're supposed to use, which is in the beginning, we lose this wonderful concordance between John 1:1 and Genesis 1:1. So we've lost a beautiful revelation of Jesus Christ. In Genesis 1:1, it says, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. In John 1:1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. So what a shame. We've lost that. This word begins with Bet, son, and ends with Tav, which means cross or sign. That's the last letter of the first word. And there are 6 letters in that first word. So every single letter of the first word speaks of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. We've got Bet, which is son and means house. Resh, which is the very next letter, and it means head. Then we have, and He is the head of all things, Isaiah 28:16. Behold, I lay in Zion a stone for the foundation, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. Whoever believes will not act hastily. Then we have the third letter, which is Aleph, and it means ox. It's a sacrifice, and the structure of this letter also speaks of Jesus as the mediator. We'll see that a little bit later on. Shin is the fourth letter, and that letter really represents God Almighty, El Shaddai. And then we have the fifth letter is Yod, which is hand of God, and Tav is the sixth letter, which is sign or cross. So we see Jesus Christ revealed in every single letter of the very first word of the Bible in the Hebrew language, the original language. The next word is bara. Bara means created. Now this word is very different and special because man can't create. We can invent, we can imagine new things, create from nothing to something we cannot do. Only God can create. And we see this in the Bible. God is revealed as creator. We have Genesis 1:21 where God created the great sea monsters. And then in verse 27, we see that he created male and female. He created the heavens and the earth in Genesis 1:1. We see the heavenly host in Isaiah 40:26. It's really pretty. I'm going to read it for you right now. Lift up your eyes on high and see who has created these things, who brings out their host by number. He calls them all by name, by the greatness of his might and the strength of his power. Not one is missing. Lovely verse. The ends of the earth were created by him, Isaiah 50:28. The north and the south in Psalm 89:12 and 13. Righteousness and salvation are Isaiah 45:8. Forms light and makes success, but creates darkness and disaster, Isaiah 45:7. Israel was created by him in Isaiah 43:15, and the wind in Amos 4:13. Now, David had a special petition. He'd really messed up his life, and he really felt bad. So in Psalm 51:10, he said, create in me a clean heart, because he knew that only God could create that clean heart. He did not have that power. And Isaiah promised that God would create a new heaven and a new earth in Isaiah 65:17. So we have this word bara, created. The third word is Elohim, which means God. Literally God, but it's also translated in other parts of the Torah as judge, or mighty, or powerful one. It is an interesting word because it composes grammatically both male and female and singular and plural. The very first part is a feminine portion, which is feminine singular, but it ends up with a masculine plural suffix. So we see that God is really without gender and without number. He is out of our realm of understanding. It is the only name used for God in that very first chapter of Genesis. God saw that whatever he had done on that day was good, and on the sixth time that he saw that it was very good. So he judged. 5 times he judged that it was very good, that it was good, and the sixth that it was very good.